So I had to take multiple trips over the next few days because I had a limit back then.
I kind of like broke my piggy bank, started off, but I think my initial investment was only about $1,000 odd.
Okay, what's up, everyone? Welcome to our brand new series of Light Talk. This is a brand new YouTube video where we have professionals of the photography industry to discuss about some of the frequently asked questions and here to bust some of the photography mysteries out there. My name is Samuel and I will be with you guys for the rest of this season.
Hi, my name is XJ and I'm a commercial photographer who actually does more conceptual stuff. So back to you, Benny.
Hi everyone, my name is Benny. I started shooting a lot of weddings, but recently I've moved on to do corporate and travel photography as well. I'm also a Fuji ambassador. We term ourselves as an ex-photographer.
All right, thank you so much for sharing. So for today's topic, we are going to talk about So for the first question of the day, so how long have you guys been in the industry and how did all these things even started? So maybe we can get Benny to share with us, how long have you been in the industry and, what got you started with photography?
Well, I started falling in love with not photography, but actually a camera. When I was at a tender age, maybe people will look for toy and photography, not photography, but rather a camera seems to be my toy. And after realizing what a camera can do, I started falling in love with photography. And ever since, it has been like a third eye to me. I think it's been a process of very much of exploration and also discovery. And I think the entire process about photography and having that third eye, it's it's beyond words. It's more than a picture.
Okay. So you say that, the photography, it was the camera that got you started, that was your motivation, is it? To get you started with photography?
Yeah, I think I'm just very intrigued by how a camera functions. And I think it has gone beyond like a recording device of just images. Like, I think it's a form of expression as well, where you get to inject your perspective into things. And talking about the length of time I've been doing photography, looking back, I started owning my first camera when I was 13. It was a film Nikon camera, and that was like 20 over. Wait, I lost track of my age. That's like 30 over years ago. Yeah, but professionally, I started my own business since year 2000. So it's been like the 20 odd years in the industry. Yeah.
What about Xing Jie? When do you get started with photography and how did you even started, man?
For me, similar to Benny, so it started from very young. So when people were playing with, I don't know, action figure, watching cartoon, I was actually playing with disposable cameras. I chanced upon them. I think my dad bought me one when I was 5. It was basically like a very, very cute Hello Kitty thing. So once you shoot already, then you just pull. Then you can actually see the photo come out, but the photo is like this small. So it started from there. And as the years grew by, I decided to take more interest in photography. So because actually I went to a wedding and then I saw the photographer like quite sad. So like he carried like all the camera. Then I was like, wow, very interested. Then it's fully black. So I thought, oh, okay, maybe that is something that I wish to do in the near future. So that's when I started to explore a bit more about photography. And it started off when people started offering me, hey, XJ, can you come to my birthday party? Help me take a few pictures. Here's like $50. Then I'm like, yeah, sure. So back then I was like 12, 13 years old. So I saved enough and I got my first system when I was 17, entering into poly, taking it seriously. So my first set of equipment was actually a D800 from Nikon. And I think till today, I've stuck with Nikon quite faithfully because they've never seemed to fail me so far.
So that means after that, you actually bought So what was the price that you spent for the very, very first camera that you actually bought?
The very first
you remember?
camera, I still remember. Okay, it's a very funny story because the first time I saved up enough, so the camera body itself was about $4,000 back then. And of course, with camera, you need lens. So I decided to go for the Holy Trinity. So the Holy Trinity is basically your 24-70, 7200, and 1635. So basically you cover from 16 degrees to 200 mm. So this set of lens cost me another $10,000. So total, I spent about 15 on my first day. It was very funny because it's the first time as a very young person to hold $15,000 cash, because the camera shop said that they didn't take card because of the 3%, and they asked me to go and withdraw money from the ATM. So I had to take multiple trips over the next few days because I had a limit back then. It was quite funny. Like I had to store the cash into like this biscuit tin. Then I was like guarding it my whole life for the next 7 days to hit that 15 or that number lah. So it was very scary for me.
Oh, speaking about holding too much cash, right? The last time around I remember holding so much cash, right, was when I went overseas trip with my friends to, Bintan. And then I thought paying cash is much better. So, I had to pay 3,000 SGD, but in rupiahs, and I was holding it in cash also. So I was literally carrying an envelope walking there also.
Yeah.
Well, what about Benny
Yeah,
though?
it's pretty
Like,
scary.
I think I started off with not so much an amount. Of course, that breaking of piggy bank thing is quite similar in that sense, where I kind of like broke my piggy bank, started off, but I think my initial investment was only about $1,000 odd. It's a Nikon 301 with a 35-70 lens. I don't have, I think at the age 13, I don't have the luxury of the Holy Trinity, but I think, well, that's a very good coverage actually. You get everything, from wide angle to tele.
So again, I'm quite curious because I just, got, like I mentioned, I just got started with photography. And lately I just got a camera for my uncle, his old camera, because he just didn't continue with this hobby anymore because he was too busy with life, earning money. So he actually borrowed me his camera, which is the 40D. I think it's a Canon 40D. So if I have to ask you guys, right, both of you, if I'm a beginner, what would be the best kind of camera setup you would recommend a beginner to start with? Because I think both of you have been in the industry for a very long time. So maybe Xing Jie, you can share with us, what kind of camera would you best recommend any beginner like myself when I come into the industry? What should I buy first?
That's a very tough question, but a very appropriate.
Yes.
I feel that from a very tech perspective, or I feel that mirrorless cameras is something that I think a beginner should always start with, not because I want you to spend a lot of money, it's because there's a reason for it. So mirrorless cameras actually let you see the image before you take it. So that is an added advantage that probably me and Benny did not have in the past. That's why the learning
That's
curve.
very true, Xing Jie. I think the real advantage of mirrorless is it actually allows you to preview image. It's just like, look at 20 years back. Have you ever wondered, like, you actually have a Polaroid before you actually do the shot? So you have it instantaneously on a EVF on a mirrorless camera. Yeah, that's a nice mention, Xing Jie. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's like, for us, it's more guesswork. Or like even Benny mentioned, right? Before we will take the actual photo, we will take a Polaroid and then to check whether the photo is correctly lit before we actually go to our real camera and shoot. So with mirrorless around, you can actually analyze yourself. What happens when I increase the shutter speed? How come the photo becomes darker, for example? Or if I increase the f-stop or f number, why the photo become darker or whatever. So you can do a lot of experimentation on your own, even without actually understanding the theory behind it. I mean, with no knowledge, right? Just simply by playing the camera. So
Xing Jie,
if you were to ask,
I just add on a little bit? But having said that, I do believe that our humble beginnings with not having the EVF and all that makes us very disciplined photographers because we go through the hard way. And I feel that what is lacking in this craft these days is actually the fundamentals, having to go through the same thing over and over again. And I think to a certain extent, that makes us more polished and we are able to nail a shot being there and there, rather than being dependent on like editing softwares to correct what we should have done correctly when we are on site or during the shoot, rather than depend on post editing to correct whatever we should have done correctly.
So hopping on the same topic, right? We talk about, you're more polished in terms of skills, right? So if you look at, in the past when you guys started with photography compared to now, what is something that you all find that is lacking? Like, current photographers, that the discipline that they are lacking in?
I actually kind of disagree in a way. I think that this new system of mirrorless, yes, you may call them less disciplined and everything, but as a photographer or creator, you have more room to explore. Like my opinion is you are able to ideate better, which is something less seen in the previous generation, I feel. I do agree with Benny that that we understand the camera and how it affects the image. But then in terms of creation, I think it opens up new avenues for people to let them be more creative in a way that they don't have to worry about too much of the settings at the back of their mind, because most of the stuff they are able to learn quicker and manage faster. I'm not sure about you, Benny, but that's what I feel.
Well, yeah, I think it's a bit true though, because I think right now, a lot of photographs, right? If you've seen social media, you've seen a lot of websites, the photographs, compared to the past, right? It's very bombastic, I would say. Then, in the past, I think if pardon me, if I use Chinese word, 得来不易, all the photographs that they take, right, with films, right? That's why I remember some uncle was telling me that last time, right, when you go for overseas trip, right, you have to bring 30 over rolls of film, right, and then go there, and then each shot is very, very precious to them. So they'll be more careful in terms of every shot they take, I guess. Okay. Yeah, but what do you mean, Ben? What do you think?
Okay, I think I'm pretty neutral. I guess what Xing Jie says is not wrong, that actually mirrorless do push you for greater boundaries for creativity. That's 100% true. But let me share my experience with you, because when I start to transit from film to digital, I did struggle a little bit, because one of the struggles I face is the consistency of the color. I started to see images that's more like edited, and I fell in love with photography in very humble ways, that because photography captures the real essence of whatever we see. But to the extent of being digital, I find that a lot of it has been manipulated until whatever we see is an image. It's more of a lie rather than, well, you can say it as creativity, but I feel that it was no longer as nostalgic as how I used to fall in love with. So that's why there was this struggle that I come to terms with the so-called the new age photography, where it's a little bit more funky, where colors go a little bit off, where just to give you an example, like Instagram is one of the great source of images these days, and when you see a very beautiful scene on the Insta, and probably when you head to the real place, and you say, hey, this is less magical than what I've seen on the Insta. So this is something that I think I struggled with, because I think what is lacking, in my opinion, these days in digital photography is the authenticity, and also your ability to connect to something that is real versus the photo. I think that delta or the difference is a little bit too much. But so how do I come to terms with it? So I kind of like take a little bit of the old, take a little bit of new, put it in a mixing bowl, and breathe it in and see how I can work with these two and come up with something that is relevant to my clients, and also be able to pass my own my own scrutiny.
Yep. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for all the insightful sharings, because ding ding ding, it is now time for the photo of the day, POTD. So this is actually another segment, right, where we'll be reviewing some of the photographs that are actually submitted by our viewers out there. So if any of our viewers who are watching this video are interested to have your photographs reviewed by either of us, either Benny, Xing Jie, or even myself, a noob photographer, feel free to hashtag us on the Instagram. You can hashtag at Montage21 Light Talk, and then you stand a chance to be featured on our next episode, and we will talk more about your photo. So for today's photograph of the day, we are going to talk about a woman with a bare face. So so this photo, personally, right, after I looked at it, with my limited knowledge in photography, I feel that, this photograph, right, is, very well framed because the ratio, right, of a headshot is perfectly fitted into the portrait photo. So by cutting out some of her side profile, the main features of the model's face, like, her ears, her cheeks, her jawline, her sideburns, are being clearly captured and highlighted in the photograph. But that's what I feel. I think that is quite a nice photo because it highlights the main part of her features. What about Benny? What do you think about this photograph?
I guess when you comment on a photograph, it has got to be relative. If I'm coming from a commercial perspective, like a corporate picture, I think it has got to be something more than this. But I think first and foremost is like the purpose of the picture. Me looking at a photo, I guess it's the kind of vibes that I get from the photo. It seems personal to me. It's like she's just flipping her hair back, and probably it's an expression. And you can see that I won't say it's a plus or a minus photo. There's nothing negative about it. Neither is something that's very, very positive about it. But I do agree with Samuel when you say I do like the crop of it. Like, for example, if I were to use this, like, say, for a ear piercing kind of an advertisement, I guess a lot more work has got to be done in terms of the makeup, the way the hair's been done, or the lighting and all the other stuff. But I do see this, like, I'm quite neutral on this, but I say if you want to be a little bit more critical, if you want this critique session to go further, I think we have to lay a context, whether it's that photo for personal use or is it from a commercial perspective that this photo is using for like a purpose, like an advertisement or something, then I guess we can take this photo further. So maybe Xing Jie has got a different take on that.
Personally, I like it. I do like the framing, as you mentioned. It gives enough head space or negative space in the top left-hand corner, which allows you to focus more on the ear, which is a very unique body part to focus on. So like what Benny mentioned, if it's for commercial, probably earrings, piercing, yes, this is actually quite a nice image. If you want to talk about it in terms of technicality, yes, lots can be improved, but I feel that the mood and the vibe that it needs to fit the brand. This can be a very nice social media campaign kind of photo for, let's say, an earring ad. Because right now, if you take a look at the focus of the ear, there is nothing else. I would say there's no centerpiece to this image or focus. Like, so what? After I look at the ear, then like, so what? There's nothing for me to add on, right? So I think what's interesting for me is the way that it's framed. It's very interesting how she cut out the photographer cut out the forehead, and if you realize it forms a triangle where the visual hierarchy where your eyes can follow. Yeah.
Triangle. Which part of the triangle are we referring to?
So you see the edge of the chin, the ear, and the eye. It forms a triangle.
Oh, okay.
So naturally, you will follow the cheekbone. So the first thing you'll see in this photo is probably the ears. Then you go down to the chin, and then you'll follow up to the eyes, which leads to the hands. So that is the visual journey that when I first saw this photo.
Okay, so we have come to the end of this video. Okay, thank you so much everyone for watching this video. And if you actually enjoyed this episode, feel free to comment, like, share, and subscribe to our video, our YouTube video, or even follow us on our social media. And of course, if you guys have any feedbacks about this video, how you guys want us to, any other topics you guys want us to talk about, feel free to hit us on the comment. And also at the same time, given that, this period of time, it is the Montage competition. So if you guys have not registered for our annual Montage competition, right, do sign up now and stand a chance to win many attractive prizes. So some of the prizes can be like Pro Photo, B10, Fujifilm X-47, and many more. So the registration will be open till the 11th of July, and more details can be found in the description box below. So you also can visit our website at 2021.montage.sg. So lastly, we would like to thank all our partners and our sponsors for making this competition possible and this video possible, especially Srishti Digilife for supporting Montage 2021. So in case you guys are wondering why, Srishti Digilife is a multi-brand, multi-discipline marketing company representing some of the best brands in the industry. So they are actually headquartered in Singapore, of course, with some of the regional offices in India, Malaysia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, and also it was actually founded in 2007 by Mr. VJ. So the company is sought after by many prominent brands like, Phase One, Pro Photo, Manfrotto, Gilzo, Lower Pro, Joby, Tender Tools, Leofort, and also even Kodak to represent them in various countries. So with their well-diversified team from across the region, they aim to continue improving themselves to better understand the market and better serve the wider photography community in the world. So once again, I think we all thank you guys for watching this video. And if you guys have any last words, Benny or Xing Jie, any last words?
No last words. I think maybe a summary will be just enjoy the journey. Don't be too caught up with the final product of your photos.
Yeah, just keep shooting and like what I say, fundamentals are more important than your camera. So fundamentals never die. Whatever camera you embrace in your hands is the best of what you can make out of it. That's the best camera actually.
All right. If not, we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.